All right, guys, as we like to do every patch here, we want to talk about the winners and the losers for the most recent patch, 7.0. What were the best updates, the best additions? What were things that we didn't like that they did? What were omissions, things that should have been added that were added to the patch? And we're going to go through all of that in this video. And we're actually going to dive into the first one. We're going to start off with the positives first, right? The first thing that I think that's good from this patch is Apocalypse and his kit changes here. Now, they mentioned this was actually supposed to go live here on Friday, but it's actually live in the game right now, when they made some really key updates and changes to Apocalypse that definitely make him now a considerable top 10 character. He's an arena viable character like the dev said that he should have been in the first place. Better plug and play character across the board, makes other characters better in an arena as well. I mean, you can, like I said, even the counter to Apocalypse right now in arena doesn't suck, right? Yes, it will suck if you don't have Apocalypse, and if you do not have Kang the Conqueror, then that's gonna suck. But even the counter to Apocalypse in arena doesn't sound too crazy, and the things that they change make sense, right? Unspawn, gain safeguard, that way he's able to keep the immunity, keep some of the positive effects there if he gains those, lowering the focus of the first enemy to take the first turn of the match, which of course is a call out to Spider-Man 2099 whenever he drops below 50% health, because that was part of the issues, that he died too fast. But he's going to be able to fill his speed bar, then heal. He makes other horseman allies better. He gains 20% focus. He gains an extra 100% accuracy, which is of course a counter to Spider Weaver. So a lot of really good things that they've done here. There's a charge mechanic. Whenever he counters, he can land stun. I think that that's pretty good, and players have showcased them already doing well in arena. Can auto if you're not going up against Kang and other characters that are on the enemy side. Even the counter, like I said, is kind of easy to, like it's Kang and Apocalypse if you have those characters. I don't know. Let me know if you think that the changes are too OP, if you would have liked them to dial it back a little bit or be a little bit more creative. Let me know. But in my personal opinion, I think that the change to Apocalypse here was a good and a positive one, but one that they probably should have already had ironed out in the very beginning, right? But that's it. Now, the next thing I want to talk about here is a quality of life feature that I think was really good. I think it's long overdue, and it's this claim all button for milestones. So you can now claim all of your milestone rewards all at once. Just tap the claim all button on the milestone screen to avoid having to claim each milestone individually. Now, they didn't mention here, this feature is available for players level 30 and above. I'm not quite sure why there needs to be an exclusion for characters that are 29 and below, but either way, it is a nice feature that they've definitely added, which I know a lot of players feel pretty good about. I know about me personally, like my raid milestones, I usually wait to claim these. I don't have to worry about doing that anymore. I gotta join some raids, right? But I can now claim these all, and because I usually like to save them, because you never know when a raid event or an event that's going to require you to earn raid rewards pops up. But even over here, I don't have any milestones to claim right now, but I've done this earlier today already. It's just such a nice feature to have here. So I definitely do think that that's a very good thing that they have done. Now, what I do want to talk about next here is Cosmic Crucible. Now, there's one Cosmic Crucible change that I did not like that they did, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But what I do like that they've implemented now is that you cannot see your opponent attack until you've done your attacks, right? So it adds a little bit more suspense to Cosmic Crucible, and to me adds a little bit more of the fun to Cosmic Crucible, because it is kind of like cheating, right? You can kind of go in and see what they've done against your defense if you didn't know what to use as a counter towards a defense that they have. Also as well, you could see what sort of leeway you had. Like if they only got 49,000 points, and you're like, okay, well, they screwed up on a tap, that means that I have maybe a little bit of a leeway. If they screwed up 2 attacks, like now you have to be more precise with your selections, more precise with your attacks. It kind of adds a little bit more, I think, just fun to Cosmic Crucible, in my personal opinion. So if they're not going to do it where they're going to hide rooms until you beat certain defenses, then I'm forgetting what the specific term for that is called. Leave it in the comments if you remember what that is. If you're not going to do that, then at least this is a nice way for them to kind of implement a little bit of a change, and I think just adds a little bit more to the competitive nature of Cosmic Crucible, in my opinion. But next thing that I wanted to talk about here is something that I'm really excited about. Now, I know we got a lot of new characters coming into this patch, but there's one particular character that I really like that they're bringing into Marvel Strike Force, and it's not Quicksilver. It is Firestar. Woo! I love Firestar. If you grew up watching the TV show Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, and they actually put it in their kit too, like making the call out to some of these characters, to Spidey and Iceman. Oh my God, I love it. I'm very excited about this. She's going to be a part of a New Warriors team, which is going to be with New Warriors team. She's going to be an addition to the New Warriors team in Cosmic Crucible. The New Warriors are getting a rework, so them being a part of the old raid meta. Well, Deathpool was still a part of the old raid meta, and he did for Apocalypse, but they're resurrecting them now to be more of a viability in Cosmic Crucible. Cosmic Crucible was a very important game mode for a lot of players. So I just love that Firestar is being added to the game. I love that she's being added to a game mode that I care about. So that may be a little subjective, but I know also I've heard a lot of players say this is really cool that we are getting Firestar. So super pumped about that and very excited for her to be added to the game here. Another character, speaking of reworks, another thing that I really like here is that Nick Fury is getting a rework, and the Invaders team, whoo, they look dynamic, right? I know that you've seen the videos out there, 600k team, 700k team that is autoing these 3.5 skill doom raids. It is insanity what they're able to do. So, but more importantly, like from a nostalgic perspective, Nick Fury being an OG character in Marvel Strike Force that is now going to be a viable character that you can use in endgame content. I think that's a good thing for me. And they've done quite a decent job, right, of bringing in these OG or reworking some of these OG characters like Spidey, like Gamora, like, you know, some of these other characters that were out of the meta that were part of the game in the beginning. They've done some reworks to these characters to make them more viable. I think that this is a good direction that they've gone in, especially for players who've been playing this game for 5 years, 4+5 years. I think it's good, you know, to kind of bring those things back for them. So that's it on the good, guys. All right, so shifting gears here and talking about some of the cons. One of the cons that I personally just didn't like is that they made some Cosmic Crucible changes, and these Cosmic Crucible changes were to some of these rooms. So one is a global rule where they change it magical disruptions. Dark hole characters have 10% max health, focus, resistance, and damage. Like Morgan needed more resistance, right? But then you have stage 5, your creeping spiders, where they added some buffs to Eternals. Now Eternal characters count as tangled web characters. They made some changes here. They've specifically even said on spawn that Vickers as an ally, tangled web characters gain 2 stacks of immunity, things like that. Here, and then stage 6, Mystic Wakandan characters gain revive once with a maximum of 30% health. Now the changes I get, because they're always going to be making changes, but the issue for me was that they did it literally right in the middle of a Cosmic Crucible week for players, instead of waiting until the following week to make the changes. So in my opinion, I just think it would have been better if they had just waited instead of just like kind of abruptly doing it. Players did not have an opportunity to adjust their offenses or defenses in order to be able to make a strategic change, an impactful change in Cosmic Crucible. So for me personally, I didn't like it. I think that they should have waited. Now you may say, well, you enjoyed the Apocalypse change and they did that one immediately when they were supposed to wait. I get that. I think it's different though. Like that's an individual character. This is like literally rooms that you're changing to, and could make a really big impact on whether or not, what if somebody was going for 3-0, what if somebody was 0-2, right? Things like that like could be largely impactful with them making these changes. So in my opinion, they should have just waited to make that change. Now, another thing I didn't like, but this may be more subjective to me, but I'm kind of just tired of these whale events. Like I don't have an issue with whales and krakens. That's not my point. My issue is the way that they're implementing events that are just towards whales and krakens. That's kind of annoying to me. And I think it's also kind of burning out whales and krakens, if you ask me. But there's an event, a milestone right now called Blast from the Past, which gives you points for unlocking and powering up Captain America World War II. So if you jump in here, like if you open up one Valiant Veteran orb, so I guess you can also just core it and then get points, but you're capped out at 500 points. You get 100 points per orb. And then here, if you unlock him, you get 2,000 points. And if you level up, equip gear, things like that, then you get some additional points. To me personally, I just don't like events like this. Now, I don't know, like, are the rewards impactful enough to where like I should care? I mean, I don't know how many players are going to be able to get all the way to milestone 25. Like, I don't know if players are what realistic. I haven't done the math on it, if that's like realistic, but still, I just don't like when it's these events have just gone the whaley side of it. I think events need to go back to being free to play, completable, and then players who want to buy offers, let them buy offers. Now, there is going to be another event specifically for Captain America World War II, which I believe this is an event campaign, right? So we're going to be looking forward to that. but just this portion, this milestone, I'm just not a big fan of it, just because of just what it's optics, right? Just what it looks like for me. And then another thing is like the teal, there's an orb, right? That they said that they were going to implement into Marvel Strike Force or give to players in Marvel Strike Force. Give me 1 second. Let me farm my Dazzler. But that they haven't added as of yet. No, there's supposed to be a teal war orb, right? That was mentioned in a previous blog post, the second half of the year blog post. And yet we have still not seen that teal war orb added to the store. And there hasn't been any messaging about it. And here's my thing. Like, if you said that you're going to do something and then you don't do it, just at least let us know that you're not doing it, or let us know that there's going to be more time. Just like what you did with the character availability. Now, to be fair, the character availability update in the blog post is also tardy as well. But at least in this case, like this one, it's just a simple message. Just say, all right, listen, man, I know we're going to implement the Teal War Orb. We're just not doing it right now. Give us some more time. Then, we'll probably stop asking you for a month or so, or wherever, right? But like the fact that you said that you were going to do it and you haven't done it, you've done multiple of the other things that you said that you're going to do from that second half blog post already, kind of just weighing on what's going on with that right now. I'm also still going to be talking about this until they actually implement it, and it's an orb slider. Oh my goodness. I have been waiting for them to implement an orb slider in Marvel Strike Force, and they still haven't done it as of yet. I want to open up my 2,386 Purple Gear Raid orbs and all these other orbs that I have over here. I would love to be able to open these up. You think I don't want to? You think I want to keep my Orange Elite orbs here? I literally open up hundreds of these a week, but I can still not keep up with my Orange Elite War orbs here. I do better with my Teal Gear Raid orbs, but still, I would like to be able to open up orbs, although I don't think I really need these as much anymore. But I would love to be able to open it, and I open up these all the time. But I would love to be able to get an orb slider here. I can just click on the orb and just slide and say, open up 700, open up 1,000, open up 1,500. I think it's just a nice little quality of life change, and I would like to see them implement into Marvel Strike Force. And I don't think it's really that hard, for them to do it. All right, and then the last thing I want to talk about here are costumes. And I know this is usually one of my highlights, and I usually like to talk about here every single patch, but I kind of switched it up a little bit differently this time because I'm not really a huge fan of these costumes, right? Like there's the Shield Medic one, which I don't know. I'm not like overly enthused about this. It doesn't really do anything for me personally. So I'm not really it's the character, right? Like I'm not really like a big fan of the character. There's not really that I do with the character. So therefore it's hard for me to get excited about it. I do like the Kestrel one though. This one's tough. Like I do like the gold. This one looks pretty good, so no gripe from me where that's concerned. This whole Ragnarok one, like I like it in theory. I like it. However, it's just the fact that he just looks weird with it because he's he looks so tiny, right? So therefore, for me, until they fix the character model, I'm probably not going to like how the character costume looks on him because I'm just like, it looks so tiny, man. What's going on? So that's it for me, guys. I mean, what are your thoughts on this patch here? I think overall things haven't looked too crazy. So let me know. What are your thoughts? What do you think about this patch here? What do you like? What do you dislike? Do you think that Apocalypse is kid? Do you think it's too OP? Do you think it's good that they've made these changes? Like, are you going to look forward to using the character now? Let me know what your thoughts are there, guys, about anything else, Cosmic Crucible, things like that. Like and subscribe for more here on the channel. Hit the notification bell so that you know when the videos do go live. Check out our links that are down below in the description for our social media. Check out our other YouTube channel here, Keep It in Comic, where we cover Marvel, DC stuff as well, guys. But until next time, love you much. Y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. Bye.